I'm about to play Stockfish 16, the strongest chess computer in the world, and we are going to see how long I can survive. What? What the f is that? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not fine. Queen takes bishop, checkmate. That was horrible. I never want to do that again. I got checkmated in 34 moves. The most important thing is I had a lot of fun. No, I didn't. My name is Levy Rozman. I want to find out a little bit more about how Stockfish thinks so I can use its tricks to beat other humans. Today we'll talk to Gary Linscott, software engineer who has worked in computer chess for over 20 years. So Gary, you worked on Stockfish. What exactly makes it so good?
Stockfish really takes advantage of super powerful computers. It searches tens of millions of positions per second. So if you give it 30 seconds, it's going to be searching upwards of 1 billion positions. And that's more positions than a human will see in their entire lifetime.
I could live 100 lifetimes. I would not be able to win this game.
Not only that, the evaluation function it uses, it's a way of assessing the board by itself is probably stronger than almost all the chess players in the world.
Your chess elo is basically a number that quantifies your skill level. The highest ever elo achieved by a human is by Magnus Carlsen. My elo right now is 2,322. What exactly is Stockfish's elo right now?
It's probably greater than 3,500.
I never had a chance. To understand how Stockfish actually thinks, we should start at the very beginning of the game. Most chess openings are subjective for humans. A human will choose an opening because they get more fun out of it. You might like something because it gives you a big center or very active pieces. That's how most players choose their openings. In my game against Stockfish, I played pawn to d4. Let's see which opening Stockfish plays. And it responded knight to f6. Gary, so the way humans learn chess openings, we read books, we create chess files, and we try to memorize them because we can't access them during tournament games. That would be like cheating on a school test. An opening book in chess is a gigantic chess database. Does Stockfish have a chess opening opinion as early as the second or even first move?
The way that it thinks about the opening is really different than a human. It is not using chess theory. It very rarely assesses an opening position. What it's assessing is the resulting structures that might evolve from that opening, but way down the game tree. It's already assessing the endgame right from the get-go.
So on its second move, Stockfish played d5, which is a very popular move. And here I made a decision to capture this knight. Humans might see doubled pawns and feel unpleasant. They might see a weakness in their position. Does Stockfish have these little buzzwords like weakness or inactive piece? What actually goes into that?
The evaluation function is trained off of a huge library of chess games that have been played. And so it kind of absorbs that knowledge. It's just all going into a giant neural net. And then you can train your evaluation function to learn what's good and what's bad. And then that network runs when Stockfish is searching the position and then uses it to navigate the opening.
So to succeed in our quest of understanding Stockfish a little bit better, let's dive into middle games. Most middle games begin around move 10 to 15. It's the stage right after the opening when you've gotten all your pieces out. You can think of the middle game in chess as a gigantic ocean, this massive tree of possibility. So in my middle game against Stockfish, pawn to c4 is what I played. Stockfish played a move that I don't think any human being would play here against me. The absurd pawn to g5, which made me audibly gasp. Ho, what is that? Oh my God, is that actually the best move in the position? That move violates most human chess principles that we have been brought up with. You shouldn't push pawns in front of your king. You should not weaken an area of the board where you can't claim any advantage. How does Stockfish break these age-old principles?
In this case, it might just be that the move is too far past kind of the human frontier to be a reasonable one. It's going to assess every possible move and it's going to rank them. It all comes down to a single number, which is what's the likelihood that I'm going to win from this position.
Stockfish doesn't have emotions and opinions. It will just play the best move that it thinks exists.
Yes, Stockfish definitely does not emotionally consider it. It is assessing with like grandmaster level quality, but it then searches 50 moves, 60 moves into the future to evaluate what is the best possible move. I'm curious, like as an incredibly strong human, how many moves do you search into the future?
I didn't realize this was the roast of Levy Rozman. Sometimes I can go 10 moves. If it's an endgame position and I can kind of identify the forcing moves for both sides, sometimes I'm stuck in a middle game and I'm already indecisive. It's like being at a restaurant, you have 3 good options. They're all very difficult to evaluate, and I'll flip a coin, but that doesn't work against Stockfish. I counted in this position, black has 41 legal moves. How does Stockfish know which of those to scrub and ultimately decide on one if 3 or 4 look really, really good?
It builds a game tree, and that game tree is going to have all the legal moves. It's going to rank all of those moves. It takes one step forward at a time. It'll search 2 moves ahead, then 3 moves ahead, then 4 moves ahead.
3 or 4 moves speak to me in about 5 seconds, and that's probably why I'm a good speed chess player. But deciding on the best move, sometimes I need to spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes uncovering the truth about one of those moves.
Chess computers actually do a similar sort of process. Stockfish actually only looks at about 2 moves per position. And that's what's called the alpha-beta search technique, which is what Stockfish and most other engines are built on top of. Alpha-beta allows the engine to eliminate many, many moves from a position because it knows that they are worse than the best move that it's found so far. And that allows alpha-beta to prune a huge amount of the search trees.
For example, if it was white's move, one of the legal moves is knight to e4, which is really, really stupid because the pawn would take the knight and white would be at a catastrophically worse position. Some computers will just be able to discard this right away, and humans will too.
Alpha-beta by itself can take those 35 moves that you have to look at on average down to about 15 or so, which is a huge reduction.
The last stage of chess is the endgame. Is there any difference in the way that Stockfish approaches the endgame versus the middle game or the opening?
Yes. Once the number of pieces goes below a certain amount, 7, then Stockfish can actually solve the game perfectly.
Chess is solved if there are 7 pieces remaining on a chessboard or less.
Exactly. Yeah, there's what are called endgame table bases.
And by solved, we mean literally every combination of moves possible. If the bishop goes here and the knight goes here, or if the bishop goes to that square originally and the knight goes there, or there, or there, or any of these combinations, all of that is solved.
Literally, Stockfish just has to look up the position in its database and it knows exactly what the answer is. Even for 7 pieces, it's only about 10 to 20 terabytes of data, which is a lot, but, manageable.
There is no more evaluating. A best move is the best move, and a position is either winning, a draw, or losing, and that's it. It's completely non-negotiable.
Exactly. Now, the chess computers are capable of playing without the table bases as well, and they will still play incredibly strong chess there, but they could make a mistake.
Gary, I lost to Stockfish. I got checkmated in 34 moves, so we didn't make it into an endgame. All right. But that's just as well. Stockfish always knows how to close out a game in the least amount of moves, even when the world's greatest players don't. I have a game here, Magnus Carlsen versus Fabiano Caruana from the 2018 World Chess Championship. Magnus was in an endgame where he was down a piece, but neither one of them found the right technique. Fabiano has a bishop and a knight, and Magnus only has a bishop. Fabiano could not convert despite his extra material because it looked like Magnus had a defensive fortress. The game ended in a draw. While the players were playing and the entire world was watching, Stockfish was screaming at them from the digital cyberspace going, "You idiots, forced checkmate in 35 moves." That is ridiculous. Like, how could it have possibly known that if both sides made a move for 35 moves, black would win?
What Stockfish can do is look forward into the table bases, and every path to the table bases, the best that you can possibly do is that mate in 35.
If Stockfish was playing black here instead of Fabiano, it would have played bishop to h4. Then bring its knight here and then trap its own knight on the edge of the board. So the knight now cannot escape anywhere because white's bishop would take it. No human being would play chess like this. You cannot trap your knight on the edge of the board, but apparently white actually runs out of moves first, and slowly but surely, black would have won that endgame. Stockfish saw that from a distance. No human on the planet saw that. So Stockfish is a very, very specialized AI. How does it compare to some other AIs? Autonomous cars or something else?
Stockfish is only good at one thing, and it's super good at that one thing, which is playing chess. Chess engines have now borrowed the state-of-the-art research in artificial intelligence, which is deep learning. However, they're still fundamentally limited to the domain of chess. Chess has, I think, been opened up in a way by AI. People can leverage the chess engines to improve their own skills. And that's kind of like the ideal use case for AI technologies, is that they help humans, do things better.
I agree with Gary. I think AI has been a net benefit for chess. I think it's helping people improve at a rate like we've never experienced. We do obviously have to tackle the issue of potential cheating, but I'm gonna stay positive and optimistic. Anyway, now that I know a little bit more about Stockfish, I'm gonna go have my rematch